This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Hello freaks. Thanks all the freaks that were watching the earlier show. The 6 hours, it started off with a bang and kind of trickled in there at the end, but it still was a successful day, thanks in large part to a special thanks to Juju Positive out there, who bought 10 memberships for people, and Double Cat Eye and Caligal 3 and everybody else that was helping out during the live stream, the Jody Arias 6-hour stream while I was out sucking playing golf. Yeah. What's funny about that? Let's see. Yeah. So tomorrow I'll probably do like the normal 3-hour one because I'll be around. Was it interesting? I think I remember that. Didn't Jody? So I remember the clothes she was wearing. Didn't she explain what happened today in the attack? Like she ran around in the shower, or has that part not happened yet? I don't remember. Anybody remember? Oh, not yet. Okay, good. So tomorrow will be that one. But this is a whole new stream, everybody, with a whole new goal. It's less than last night or any other night, just because you guys were on there all day today. And maybe I'll change the name from Super Freak to Top Freak. Because whenever you're watching a trial that has some weird sexual innuendos, being called a super freak is sort of weird, you know? Yeah, your picture's up on the screen and you're a super freak. So I think I gotta fix that one. Yeah, Kubi was there. She, you know. Who? What do you mean? Who asked? I'm just saying. What are you filling that in for? There was a lot of people that were there. Was there people at the end? I mean, I was reading the chat. It seems like it sort of stopped having a chat or something for a while. Oh, Super Freak. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, she bought it back a couple times. Oh, and let's see. Yep. Hey, Denture Dialogue, I thought you were a channel member. What happened? Freak, Zoid? Yeah, it's not a Ziad. Yep. Yeah, I saw you guys saying we're supposed to act normal, you know, try to keep everything together. What Graves? I checked in out there, but I wasn't able to watch it though. It was weird. It wouldn't play, but other videos would. It was buffering, just like you guys always say. I forgot the thing about the cogwheel and changing the quality. Huh? Right. Well, I've got the $1.99 a month, membership. Hello. Let's see. That's why I have that low end one. All right. Well, let's get started here. Not really starting off with a bang, but let me get to the. I feel like the air conditioning is going. We'll just see how this goes. pretty tired just from being out in the sun for so many hours. Let's see. So for those that are new here, every single night on this channel, the freaks support the channel with super chats and whatnot, and then at the end of the month, I try to donate over 50% of the net revenue because I want to do that. I'm not a charity intake company or something like that. That's what I do. Okay, so if you're supporting me. And it's also helping support all kinds of different things. It's just, that's how I like to do it. Thank you, Traveling Teresa. Yeah, I'm covering this one, okay, not Robert Yates. Let's go. Yeah. And tomorrow I'll be doing Serial Killer Sunday. And that should be pretty interesting. Yeah. I've never heard of this guy. He's a nut job. Thank you, Kathy Chapin. All right, you guys ready? I could just put that in that order. I was just going to do Laurie, Lynn, Partridge. It was hard with doing Laurie, Lynn, Partridge. Guess why? Because Laurie Partridge on the show, The Partridge Family, was sort of big around that time, so that name showed up a lot. So you had to use either Laurie L or Laurie Lynn, and that would show up sometimes. Usually I try to get rid of the middle name, put quotes, so you got a direct, and then it kept going to the Partridge Family, the show. Oh yeah. Well, I think you do, Cindy, right? You can get my ugly mug off the screen. Okay. Okay. So the first one we're going to do is, this is in Spokane, Washington. And man, I don't know what it is, but Spokane seems to have this sort of like a higher rate than normal of like serial killers or something. Or something's going on there over the years. It's pretty odd. Thanks, Cindy. Look at that. Cindy is the top freak. You're going to be up there for hours. Yeah, hold on. Let me get this set up here. Is that it? Oh, there we go. Yeah, perfect. I already had it set up. So Laurie M. Ritchie, who's 38 years old. We're going to go back in time here. Thank you, Kathy Freidenmaker. She's one of the OG too. She's been around forever. Just like when Kit Kat comes in, you know. Get your freak on, get your freak on. Freakadelic. Okay, brutally honest. Awesome. Yeah. Way too hot today out here. Yeah, it's not really that large of a city back in 1970 though.
Get you a freak
So.
on. Get you a freak on. Musical notes. Hashtag freakadelic. Smiley face.
Let's see. Let's see what it says. Well, I guess it had like, 180,000 people total. I mean, but that's not huge, right? Back in the 70s. But, it's bigger than I was thinking. Thanks, Cindy J. Oh, she built back up some of her points. That was good. Okay, so there isn't a picture of this person. There might be one online. Let me just check. Laura M. Ritchie. I didn't see one anyways. Yeah, see, there isn't one. Whoa, what's going on? Crime detector, figure detector, I'm certified lie detector. Gonna get ya, gonna set ya, you drive playing like an old projector. Contactor is my nectar, is gonna give an lecture, crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pop protector, fool deflector, interceptor, and I mean an inspector with a vector, on inspector, with no sector. Whoa! Bam! Boom shakalaka!
I usually do these larger amounts on PayPal, just trying to spur people along. Thanks for all you do.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Lisa Murphy and Traveling Teresa.
She's a super freak. Super freak, she's super freaky.
All right, okay. Come on, I did that pretty quick, that rap, man. I was right there with the beat the whole time. Yeah, it's still not very big, though. Yeah. I mean, it must have been Seattle and Spokane, but, 180,000, 160, that's not really that big. And it doesn't really matter that it's big. Okay, so detectives probe women's slaying. You ever notice you always got the people that come in that aren't really, they're not channel members, they're hardly ever here. They're the ones that always try to challenge you up on every little tiny comment that you make, saying, man, it seems like there's serial killers in Spokane, and it's like, well, it's a big city, Gray, and by the way, the big city. Well, it's not really that big, and there's just a lot of crazy murders of women, that there's assault and stuff like that. It's something's going on there, and and I've covered a whole bunch of other ones too. It might be, I don't know what the situation is there, or what's going on. Maybe there's sex workers there, and truckers go through there, and maybe that's what's going on at some point. Alright, so here we go. Detectives probe women's slaying. Sheriff's detectives today were probing the shooting death of... Hold on, let me turn this, it's too loud. The shooting death of Mrs. Laura M. Ritchie, 38, and now we've got the address here, which is E14123 Longfellow. I was thinking they might not even have those same address. Maybe it's supposed to be east. Or how about just get rid of east and leave it like that? No. Longfellow, Spokane. Oh, there it is right there. There it is. East. There. Okay. Okay. So it's 123 East Longview Avenue. So right here. Yep. Went right onto a house. So that's where she lived. So put down Laura's house. And then go to the street view there and check it out. And let's see if we think that it... That looks like that probably wasn't there at the time. It's possible it was, but it looks kind of... either that, it's been updated many times, but you can even see the number there, 14123. And it says the woman's frozen body with one bullet wound in the back of the head was found yesterday afternoon by a country road crew in a ditch on Christensen Road, about 3 miles northwest of Airway Heights. So let's see if we can say Christensen Road. And that's in Spokane, right? Was Walla Walla close? Not really sure why they're saying that. So it says near. How about we'll type in 3 miles northwest of Airway Heights. Let's see where that is. Okay, so that's over here. And then 3 miles northwest. So we're looking at... I'm not looking at the chat, so you could be going, Greg, I know where it is, Greg. So up here-ish, somewhere right around in this area. But they do call it Christensen Road. Christensen Road. No, I don't know. I think they must have changed that road at this point. Or maybe it's in here, but it's... Yeah, I have a feeling they probably just changed the name of it. That seems like that was probably a family name of somebody. Well, if anybody has the answer that they changed the road name to a specific road or something like that, thank you, Lane Dune. And Travelin' Teresa. Oh, Teresa, you are now the super freak. Okay, so I'm just going to say that it's sort of around in this area over here, just kind of based on the 3 miles. So I'll just say her body found at this point. Maybe we'll get more specific directions later. So there's Airway Heights. They said 3 miles northwest. So let's just say you're here. And, you know, yeah, so you're right there. 3 miles is right here. So, well, northwest is the other direction, excuse me. So it's over here. That'd be over here then. Let's see, is there anything? Rambo Road. Maybe that was the one. You know, they changed it to Rambo later. So let's just say she was found right around in that area. Okay, so now Detective Captain Dean A. Leidig said Mrs. Ritchie reported missing since last Sunday, apparently had been shot at another location and her body dumped alongside the road. A coroner's autopsy could not set the exact time of death because the body was frozen, said detectives. However, the autopsy physician estimated that the body had been in the ditch for more than 2 days. Leidig said Miss Ritchie was killed with a bullet from either a 22 caliber or 25 caliber weapon. That 25 caliber is that really tiny little gun that Jodi Arias had. It fits in the palm of your hand. It's really small. He said the victim, clothed in green slacks and a blue and yellow T-shirt, had not been molested. Detectives said Mrs. Ritchie, separated from her husband, is survived by 3 children at home, aged 2, 3, and 20. Now, here, when you look at something like that, you might think that separated from her husband, and maybe they were going to get a divorce, and then you look at there's 2 that are 2 and 3, and that's a lot of years of child support there. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but, you know, that's something to look at. Just a second, Lisa. Get you guys in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, got it. Whoever takes 25 auto to a gunfight or murder mine as well, take a cap gun. Yeah, they're pretty weak. I mean, you know, it's better to have that than 0, but, you know. Especially if it's, you know, not, if you're a huge person, it probably wouldn't hurt him too bad, I would imagine. I mean, it didn't even, you know, Travis got shot in the head, it didn't hurt him. I mean, it hurt him, but he was alive, moving around. He was even talking. Let's see. So Leidig said Miss Ritchie was killed with a bullet from either a 22 caliber, 22 caliber, or a 25 caliber weapon. Detectives said that Miss Ritchie, separated from her husband, is survived by 3 children, 2, 3, 20-year-old daughter, and a 17-year-old. So she has 2, 3, and 20, and by a 17-year-old daughter in Yakima. So 4 kids. And this one said, several queried in woman's death. Several persons were questioned Saturday by sheriff's detectives in the death of Miss Laura M. Ritchie, 38. The partially frozen body of Miss Ritchie was found Friday afternoon about 5 feet off Christensen Road. Let me try this one more time here. Christenson. Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be in there. Not sure. An autopsy disclosed that a single bullet from either a 22 or 25 caliber weapon had lodged in the victim's brain. Detectives said they believe the woman was killed elsewhere and dumped there. Meanwhile, a second phase of the investigation was underway in the County City Crime Laboratory. Criminologist John F. Anderson was given samples of the victim's clothing and of the scene where the body was found. Through intensive analysis, Anderson said he should be able to determine if any foreign particles of material are in the clothing. Such foreign particles might include paint chips from an automobile or dirt and dust from the area other than where the body was found. Results of the analysis. See, these do some really cool stuff like that. You know, analyze the dirt that might be on a body that was dumped, and then figure out, like, wow, so that might have came from the trunk of a car, and then that dirt's not in this area, it's over here, and then they would, you know, it was pretty amazing, some of the old school detective. I think a lot of that stuff's missing today. They rely too much on forensics and all kinds of stuff instead of just the, you know, walking around getting answers. Any clues that might be discovered or found in the clothing will be of great help to our investigation, Sheriff Captain Dean A. Leidig said Saturday. When detectives found the body, it was clothed in green jeans and a blue and yellow t-shirt. The victim was not wearing a coat, authorities said. Mrs. Ritchie is the mother of 4 children, 3 of whom live at her home. A 17-year-old daughter lives in Yakima. The victim's husband did not live at the family home, so they're separated. And there was no sexual assault, so it sort of points to somebody that knew her and just wanted to get her out of the way. Search fails to uncover slaying clues. An inch-by-inch search yesterday of the area where a Spokane Valley woman's body was found Friday failed to turn up a single clue to the slaying. Hold on a second. Yeah. Sorry about that. It's just the door just keeps opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing. Let's see. Mrs. Ritchie frozen body was found in a ditch on Christensen Road about 3 miles northwest of Airway Heights. The Spokane Valley woman was killed by being shot in the head. Let's see. Still under scientific analysis, Lieutenant Seaton said, are Mrs. Ritchie's her clothing. They're just trying to see if they can match up some of the stuff that was, like when her body was in the trunk, was there any materials put on her clothing that don't match where the crime scene is? And if so, where does it match? Like what geographical area? I mean, it doesn't really narrow it down specifically every time. And those are in February, then in March. Those articles are in February, it says. So Sheriff Detective Lieutenant Terry Snedden was dispatched to the Utah State Penitentiary near Salt Lake City Tuesday to interview Eugene H. Ritchie. Oh, so that's probably the husband of late Mrs. Laura M. Ritchie, 38. Oh, that's right. He was in prison. That's why he's not a suspect. Ritchie has been an inmate of the penitentiary since January 27th. So hold on. Oh, wow. So he got put in the penitentiary, and then literally just 3 weeks later, she's killed. That's kind of weird. Thanks, Lisa Murphy. I appreciate your you're trying to get some, but you've already helped out enough. I mean, you're very generous, so thank you. Thank you. Hey, EC, do you mind if I just cover the case on my own? Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not really interested in your, keep making comments and comments and comments and comments. It just doesn't really. Thank you, though. Okay. Like, I like how people pretend that they've been on the case the whole time.
Ocean wave.
Yeah.
Let's get this done.
Yeah, they have never heard of this one. I can guarantee it. So let's see. It's kind of strange though, because her husband was in the penitentiary for 3 weeks prior, right? Ritchie has been an inmate of the penitentiary since January 27th on a charge of grand larceny. Purpose of the trip to Utah, Sheriff Captain Dean A. Leidig said, it's to ask Ritchie for any information he might have relating to the death of his wife. Names of persons that could be involved will be sought.
Ocean wave.
Mrs. Ritchie's body was found by a county road crew February 19th in a ditch on Christensen Road, about 3 miles northwest of Airway Heights. She had been reported missing February 14th, so she was found on the 19th. She went missing on February 14th, and so her husband was in prison since January 27th, so she was literally killed just a little over, maybe 2.5 weeks later. That's pretty crazy. I mean, what are the odds? It almost feels like it has to have something to do with something associated with her husband, either the fact that he's in prison, like he's in there and somebody knows that he's in there, so she's alone, but she was killed just sort of execution style, where the killer wasn't really looking for, it wasn't a sexual motivated crime. So somebody was killing her for another reason that apparently we're just not aware of at this point. Thanks, Travelin' Teresa. Okay. And we got the March 19th one here. Ritchie case, mission fails to aid probe. So, an extensive interview with Eugene H. Ritchie failed to produce any worthwhile information relating to the death of his wife, Mrs. Laura M. Ritchie. It's funny how they say they're separated, because he's in prison. It's not like I wouldn't even know if they were separated for any other reason than the fact that he's in prison. Like that's what the separation is. Thanks, Kami Nielsen. And Traveling Teresa. And thank you. And also Linda Howell, thank you very much. And Lisa Murphy again, thank you.
Ocean Wave.
Oh, Traveling Teresa's now the super freak. Okay, Mrs. Ritchie's body was discovered by a county road crew February 19th in a ditch on Christensen Road, about 3 miles northwest. So anyways, they weren't able to get any information from the husband. He wasn't able to provide anything. But man, doesn't it almost seem like retribution of some sort? Because there doesn't seem to be any other information. There isn't a ton of information on this case, by the way. So that was it on that one. That's 1971. Then the next case is Ruby Lampson. And Ruby Lampson case is a weird one because there's just one article. Let me close this down here. So let's go over to Ruby Lampson right here. So 1967, it says, police are seeking assistance in locating Mrs. Ruby Agnes Lampson, 48, who has been missing from her apartment at, so now we'll type it in the correct way. It should be 1010 West Ide, and there it is right there. So right in this area here, it doesn't really show you which one it is, but so this is going to be Ruby Lampson. Okay, then you go down to, doesn't have street view there, so you can kind of see it. I think these are probably not what was there before. Looks kind of new-ish. So Detective Francis J. Peck said today Mrs. Lampson is about 5 foot 4 inches tall. What? Oh, I thought it said 4 foot. So, 5 foot 4 inches tall, weighs about 135 pounds, has hazel eyes and brown hair. He said anyone having information about her should contact either him or Mrs. Irene Bain of West 1010 sister of the missing woman. So that's her in that picture right there. Let me zoom it in. That's her. And she's 48. So she just went missing. Just poof, gone into thin air, right? And there was no articles about her at all ever again until 1971, where it says detectives were seeking the identity of a woman whose body was found yesterday in 7 Mile area. Detective Lieutenant Terry D. Snedden said the skeleton, most of it in a shallow grave, was found near the northwest edge of Riverside State Park. So where's that? Okay, so there's rivers. This whole area is probably just this one here. Adjacent to the 7 Mile Military Reservation. Okay, where's that? 7 Mile Military. Okay, it's up here. Skeleton, most in a shallow grave, was found near the southwest edge of Riverside State Park, adjacent to the 7 Mile Military. Yeah, but they said... Here, I'll put that there. 7 Mile. And the other one... Riverside State Park. Hey, thanks Gloria Batari. Boom. Look at that. Member for a long time. So there's Riverside State Park. This is, so when they say adjacent, look at, I mean, it's crazy because it says Riverside State Park, Riverside State, but they said the southwest, so if we go down, you know, maybe it's just kind of down in this area. It's hard to say. They have 4 different places that Riverside State Park, Riverside State Park, down here it says it again, but they did say it was in the southwest, so it would be the bottom west part of the park. I don't know. I'll just put a pin down here. Something like in there or something. So this is where Ruby was found. Or a body was found. Ruby. Okay, where is that? Snedden and Detective C.E. Bleisner today were continuing to search the wooded area for other bones and possible evidence. Snedden said it has not been determined how long the body had been buried, but said it appeared to have been a long time. Preliminary examination of the skull indicates the woman suffered a head injury. Chief Criminal Deputy Dean A. Leidig said a few remnants of clothing and some multicolored beads were found with the body, he said. Children discovered the body. The bones, Leidig said, were discovered by children riding horseback in the remote area. Leidig said the body was found about 2 miles east of the spot at which the body of Dorothy Fielding, 32, which is another person we'll be talking about, was found in a shallow grave April 8, 1968. Sheriff's officers, despite intensive investigation, were never able to find the Fielding woman's killer, Leidig said. He said detectives are checking into several missing person reports in hopes of getting some clues to the identity of the woman found yesterday. And the next day, body believed identified. Spokane County Sheriff's officers indicated Wednesday that a body found Tuesday in the 7 Mile District northwest of Spokane may be that of a woman who has been missing more than 4 years. Clues combined with evidence found on the brushy hillside where the body was discovered led investigators to speculate that the body may be that of Mrs. Ruby Lampson. So that's the one we're talking about right now, who has been missing from her home at 1010 West Ides since June 7, 1967. At the time of her disappearance, Mrs. Lampson was 48. So we got, even though she was found in 71, the date that we should care about is 1967, July 11th. And so what's interesting about it is over here it says the body was found about 2 miles west of where the body of Dorothy Fielding, 32, was found in a shallow grave April 8th, 1968. So those two were found in a relatively, like, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8 months apart. Maybe 9. And only 2 miles apart in... Now, is it a dumping ground for somebody? I mean, that's pretty weird. There's such a vast area. You have 2 bodies within 2 miles of each other. Within a year, 2 women. So, that's not really a pattern yet with that type of numbers, but at the time of her disappearance, Miss Lampson was 48 years old. The tentative identification was made by a dark-colored sweater and pants and a light-colored blouse worn by the victim. Other evidence included a set of beads was found, investigators said. Sheriff deputies this morning are expected to decide whether to send the body to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Washington, D.C., for any possible clues relating to the identity or cause of death. Teeth also will be checked with dental records. The body was found at the bottom of a 45-degree embankment about a mile west of 7 Mile Bridge. So now we can really dial this in. Come on. 7 Mile Bridge. West 7 Mile Road. Okay. So here's 7 Mile Road. Oh man, I'm sort of wondering if that, look at how steep that is right there. So there's 7 Mile Road. And where would the bridge be? Does it go over this creek? Is that the bridge? I wonder if they have a street view. Ooh, look at that, man. Somehow, this driver went on this dirt road. You gotta be kidding me. This guy's... Sometimes there's these nutty Google Earth drivers that just... I mean, we need more of them. The Google Earth drivers that are smoking dope. That just go, hey, dude, let me go down this road, man. It's like totally gnarly. Yeah. I mean, this is crazy. What is this guy doing here? This is weird shit. Look at this. In the middle of nowhere, and then I think he even goes down this other road here. I'm not sure you call that a road. So I don't know what the name of that bridge is. Let's see. State Highway. I wish things just sometimes were a lot easier. So there's 7 Mile. Well, maybe that's what this is. Oh, there it is. West 7 Mile Road. So I'd say that that's the bridge. So now let's see what it said again. Roadway at the top. The body was found at the bottom of a 45-degree embankment about a mile west of 7 Mile Bridge. The spot is about 250 yards from the 7 Mile Military Reservation. So I would think that that's the bridge. And then when they say a mile west, let's just go starting here. And west is, basically on the road that they've given us. And we're right there is a mile. So that means right in this spot here. It was like a 45-degree embankment there. Does it go down the other direction? Maybe it was right there. See how steep that is? I mean, that's 45 degrees there, but I don't know. Roadway at the top. 7-mile military reservation near the southwest edge of Riverside State Park. Roadside is at the top of the embankment. A roadway is at the top of the embankment. Investigators theorize. See, I was looking at that road a second ago, thinking, was it up there? So maybe it was here that the person dumped her body, and maybe she was found, let's just say, over in here. And then the killer from up here, I was looking at this a minute ago thinking, well, that looks like a 45-degree drop. So let's see what they say here. The body was found Tuesday. Okay, a roadway is at the top of the embankment. Investigators theorize the woman was pushed from a vehicle there. So somebody was driving around. You know, maybe they took this side road over here, drove around. Is there street view up here? Oh my God. Whoever this guy is, man, thank you. You're crazy as hell, I gotta tell you. So they were just driving up here, probably. And it's weird to be able to sort of see likely what they're talking about. Look at this. So this killer comes right up here, drives around, he's kind of over in this area, and likely somewhere right around in here, stopped his car and just chucked her body off the side of that steep embankment right there. Does that make sense? Yeah, so up here, back in that 1970, or actually 68, I mean, hell, up here there's probably, like, not a soul around. I mean, this is... So I think that's what they're saying. I mean, it actually makes sense. You know, whether it's there or somewhere close to the mile around in this area. I think it was spotted by somebody on the road, so it's not going to be over here. It could be over here, but I don't know. Definitely could be here, because then she would have just fallen all the way down. But. Well, it's not Mother's Day yet, but yes, happy Mother's Day to everybody tomorrow. All right, but we still got the goal to go tonight, you guys. Quicker we get to the goal, no more stress. It's just a stress-free night. You know what I'm saying? So if you're somebody out there that wanting to help support the channel, no time better than the present. Thank you very much. The body was found Tuesday by youngsters riding horseback. You can kind of picture people up there. It was surrounded by thick brush and had become partially buried in a nature-made grave. It could not be determined how long the body had been there, but one investigator said the body appeared to have been in the location for a long while. Preliminary investigation of the skull indicated the woman suffered a head injury, investigators said. The body was found about 2 miles west of where the body of Dorothy Fielding, 32, was found in a shallow grave April 8, 1968. Despite a lengthy investigation into that death, detectives have never been able to find the slayer. So this case right here is still unsolved here. So here we go. Probable identification of the body of a middle-aged woman found November 16th in a brushy area near Riverside State Park was reaffirmed Wednesday as that of Ruby A Lampson, missing from 1010 West Ide since June 7th, 1967. The woman was 48 years old when she disappeared. Identification of the body was... Hey, blue! was made by matching tatters of clothing found at the scene against a description of the clothing the victim was wearing when she appeared. The body discovered, when she disappeared, the body discovered by youngsters riding horseback through the area was found at the bottom of a 45-degree embankment about 250 yards from the 7-mile military reservation. The body had been partially buried in natural grave and thick brush and grown around it. The remains were sent to the FBI in Washington, where an analysis was completed. Results of the testing indicated that the clothing comparison made by the Sheriff's Department was accurate. So, no takers, you guys? Who's going to take out Traveling Teresa up there? And that was 1971 to 1972, March 8th. Dead woman found in 71 is identified. So finally, the body found November 16th, 1971, about 3 miles, 3 miles west of 7 Mile, has been positively identified as that of Ruby A Lampson, 48, who disappeared in 1967. The identification, he said, was made by the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. We consider this a homicide case, and Detective Lieutenant Terry D. Snedden, it did say up here, sent to the FBI, he said, where the bones found covered by pine needles in the wooded area northwest of the city. We consider this a homicide case, and Detective Lieutenant Terry D. Snedden and Detective C.E. Bleisner are still working on active leads. No exact cause of death could be determined because of the length of time the body had been exposed to the elements, Bleisner said. Leidig said detectives are still working to determine if the Lampson case is any way connected with the death of Dorothy Fielding, a supermarket checker. Her body was found in a shallow grave in the same general area. Well, now we're going on to Mrs. Fielding here. So one of the things I thought was interesting about Fielding was I was looking in the paper before. Thanks, K.Me. Where it says, Jerry E. Fielding versus Dorothy Fielding, divorce. Okay? So it does say right here, marriage license applications, but down here it says, Jerry E. Fielding versus Dorothy Fielding, divorce. So that was in the same area. Her name isn't... Dorothy Fielding probably isn't that common of a name. So his name was Jerry, right? In 1968, target shooters discovered corpse. A woman's body was found in a shallow grave about 12 miles northwest of Spokane yesterday. Has been tentatively identified as that of Dorothy Fielding of... So you guys are going to let me keep having the stress for the whole show? Man. Let's see, what do we got here? One 121 East Thurston, Spokane, Washington. Yeah, they just... I don't know, man. Sometimes they don't work, I guess. So she used to live right here, and this is where Dorothy Fielding lived. So that house is probably, that looks like one that's been there. Just that look there. Thanks, Renee H. Yeah, that's what the whole thing about the goal thing is, to alleviate stress for me, so I don't have to keep saying it, you know. But if you guys see it up there and there's no action on it, then it's still stressful. Get what I'm saying? All right. Thanks, Renee. Miss Fielding was reported missing to police last August 19th. And this is April, so that was been 67 she was reported missing. Sheriff Detective Walter F. King, first officer on the scene yesterday, said the body was found near an old logging road which branches off Garfield Road. So let's see where that is. Thank you, Traveling Teresa. So what about some of you other people out there? Instead of, it's always, and I'm really grateful for the same people, but it's like all the burden seems to be on the same ones. And, I'm doing these shows every single night. And who are you talking about, Robert? Even if he gets caught, he would get probation in Washington. Oh, I doubt it. I'm sure Washington State in the 60s was just as harsh on crime as everybody else. So let's see, Garfield Road. Let's do that. I want to see how close it is to where we were at a little while ago. That's not really that close. Garfield Road, about 2 miles south of... Okay, Jesus. Let's go to Cooley Height Road. Okay, now we're way over here. There's a North Cooley Height Road. West Cooley, Jesus. What the hell? No, okay, miles south of Cooley Height Road. Alright, now that's pretty complicated. So it says, the body was found near an old logging road which branches off Garfield Road about 2 miles south of Cooley Height Road. But Garfield Road was way over here. Okay, there's Garfield Road. Okay. So there's Garfield Road. Whose body is this one? That's Ritchie. That's right, that was the one that was 3 miles here. Then I have Ruby's body there. But now we're on to Fielding. Wow, see, I don't know, man. There's something going on here. This is too much. Hey, thanks, Danielle. Daphne and Snarky Cinderella.
This is the best I can do. Thank you, Gray.
Oh yeah, well, that's fine. I mean, you don't. If you can't afford, here's the thing, everybody. If you can't afford it, I don't want a nickel. It's only the people that can afford it. Like you're just, hey, consider me a cheeseburger at McDonald's or something. Or whatever the hell it is. Perhaps even a chocolate milkshake from McDonald's. Where today on the way home, I realized those things are $4 now. Can you believe? Listen to this, you guys. I went to McDonald's on the way back just because I was like, I haven't had McDonald's in a while. Not since Tuesday. And I went there and not really. So I had 2 cheeseburgers, a medium fries, and a chocolate milkshake. So I thought, man, that might taste good today. How much do you think that cost? That sucker, that was $15. I mean, I don't know if I'm just not looking at my debit card anymore when I go to these places. But literally 10 years ago, that was like $5 maximum. You get like a cheeseburger was less than $1 each. The whole meal together was like $3.99, and then you get the shake, and it would have been like $6 at the very most. 15. Unreal. That's right. I'm a happy meal, Lillian. I'm a happy meal. Hey, by the way, is there anybody that's interested in the blue notebooks? Because I just opened the second box. We still got 50 of those things in there. I thought more people would be interested in the blue notebook. Those are the ones where you send 25 in to PayPal and you get the a stress ball, a blue pen, and also the notebook. I mean, it's pretty sweet. You know, it's got paws on it and everything. Right. Well, the thing is I mean, I guess they're there now, but I'm not sure. They're pretty cool. Pretty cool. A new one? Sweet. You wouldn't pay $15 to watch a pissant eat a bale of hay? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Are you equating 2 cheeseburgers and a frat and fries to a bale of hay? Man, no way. Although I think if you took a cheeseburger and squeezed it, it would make a ball the size of a golf ball. I've just realized that. Oh, by the way, this is something I was talking today at breakfast with my parents. My 2 stepkids were there, and they work in a deli in a supermarket. And I said, you know what I hate the most? Because I've been to that deli a million times the whole time I was growing up. They're here, they're just kind of getting their feet wet, working at a supermarket, and they're working. They just got full-time jobs there, so that's cool. They have been working at Taco Bell and that place. Now they're quit the Taco Bell. Now working full-time at the grocery store, which is awesome. But anyways, they work in the deli, and I go to the deli sometimes, and, you know, I think we've all experienced what I'm about to tell you. Don't you hate when you go to the deli and you want to buy, you're there for lunch. You want to get your corn dog, you want to get your chicken something, you want to get your chicken strips, you want to get something, just something for lunch. And at the same moment, you look over to the right, and there's like this 105-year-old person that is, well, it doesn't even matter. The age has nothing to do with anything. And they're over there just saying, okay, listen, I'd like 2 pounds of sliced cheese, please. Oh, hey, do you mind if I taste that one over there? Oh, yeah. No, yeah. No. Now listen, I'd like 3 pounds of mashed potatoes. Can I also get 2.5 pounds of... I mean, they go on and on and on talking about every freaking... these things that you got to slice up that take hours. And over here, there's now a building up line of people just wanting their damn lunch. Could you just give us, like... another person that only does the lunch, people? Instead, you look over here, and that guy is sweating bullets because he knows that everybody's getting pissed off as this person just... And here's what's even worse, that they don't even know that you're over there. You get what I'm saying? They don't even know that you're over there. I mean, how come they don't know you're over there? Shouldn't they have looked and said, "Oh shit, there's a line. Hey, tell you what, just get me the cheese there. I'll see you guys later." Instead, they go, "And I'd like another pound of sliced turkey. Oh, and can I get some of the coleslaw? Oh, that's too much. Can you scoop some of that? Okay, that's the right amount. Thank you." Oh my God, people. Are you kidding me? I've got 40 minutes for my lunch. I want my food now. All right? Tell me that isn't true, what I just told you there. Gray, that's mean. I'm the one that always buys those things. Well, all right? Where's that punch sound? There you go. All right? I mean, give me a break, you guys. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right, KB? You go in there, all you want is something, just a corn dog, for God's sakes. You know, how long does a corn dog take to put in the bag? Hey, ma'am, you know what I would do, too? I would actually say that the people working there should say, hey, ma'am, while you go through the deluge of things you want to buy, do you mind if I put a corn dog in a bag for this guy over here that's waiting patiently? Well, that's so rude of you, sir. How dare you? I had things to order. Well, hey, look it. It's only going to take 30 seconds to get my freaking corn dog. They might even ask for a packet of mustard, but, you know, that's when they're getting real zany. Yeah. What's going on with the dads and everything? I don't get it. Oh, man. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. I tell you the truth here. And by the way, if you guys, did any of you see my community post? I fixed the issue that I was having with, well, let me show you on the screen right now. I'll get back to the Spokane stuff in a little bit. But the problem I was having was that I screwed up and it was just pitch dark. That's why I didn't render anything. Because I had it set at 2 a.m. instead of 2:07 p.m., which is 1400. And then now you see that little shadow there is an absolutely perfect match for Abby's, which, you know. So now you're going to say that people photoshopped her on there and made sure that they had the exact time of day when they randomly put it on. Give me a break, okay? You guys are absolute nut jobs. Yeah, by the way, this Danielle just sent this in here. This is the picture of the... That right there is the blue notebook. How cool is that? So I put those paw prints on there later. I didn't get those, don't come with it. So I realized, hey, I got this. I bought a little foot paw thing and I put it on there. So some of the very early ones don't have those paw prints on there. But there it is, man. Tell me that isn't the coolest damn notebook you've ever seen right there. I've even put some one paw print on the very back of some of the new ones. But come on, look at that. There's blue, chillin', never illin' with the paw prints on there. Look at that. And there's 80 pages in there. They're actually pretty good quality. They come with this pen. I give you a blue pen, and it just goes in the packet. But you can do it what you want with it. And then the next one's going to be Chloe. Okay, but we got to sell out of all the blue ones. Then I'll do a Chloe one. It'll probably be more different color, maybe red or something. There you go. Thanks, Danielle. That was a good, good image to use there. Okay, so again, this is the Dorothy Fielding. I'm trying to get this figured out, what they're saying where she was found. It's definitely a case of homicide. Miss Fielding was reported missing to police last August 19th. Sheriff Detective Walter F. King, first officer on the scene yesterday, said the body was found near an old logging road which branches off Garfield Road. Jeez. So this is this. Okay, there's Garfield. And then it sort of feels like it's going to be up here. Garfield. Then somehow it starts up here again. Okay, so this must be Garfield. Okay. Garfield. And still Garfield. Okay, so we got that. And then the previous case that we did was, which one was that? That was Ruby Lampson. Now there's Ruby. And then they did mention, well, it's interesting. I didn't really look at that before, but Ruby's body, and that's where she lived there, but it was kind of over in this area. But I think the other case is Ritchie is the one that we're looking at here. I think that's this one. Yeah. So let me rename that one so I can tell. So it's Laura Ritchie body. Okay, so this makes sort of more sense when they say like 2 miles from there. Okay, so there's Garfield, let's say. About 2 miles south of Cooley Height Road. So let's just put a pin in Garfield here. And then go to Cooley Height Road. Okay. So there's one over here. Okay, it goes around like this. Alright. Alright, let's see it now. Let's read that again, knowing that we have that. Logging road which branches off of Garfield Road about 2 miles south of Cooley Height Road. Oh, okay, cool. So Cooley Height Road comes into here. And when they say 2 miles south, I don't know how they were able to measure that, because normally you drive that stuff, but you'd have to go from here down, because this is Garfield Road. Oh, okay, right here then. Okay, I bet you this is how it is. There it is, Garfield Road, and right here is, God, I thought we just had that. That road just ran into here, and then it changed names. Hold on. Ah, crap. Where's Cooley Road again? Okay, Cooley, down like this. There goes Cooley. And there's, okay. Yeah, so it comes in here, and I wonder at one point if they sort of, like this one over here was still the same road. Because Cooley goes right there, and then right there is Garfield. Yep, so I think if we go here and then measure about 2 miles south of Cooley Height Road. Okay, so if we go down here, they usually do it by driving and measure it that way. And so right now we're at 0.7. Yeah, and then it goes to here, and then down. We're at 1.16. And maybe somewhere around in, I bet maybe right there. That's 2.23 miles. There's a logging, looks like a road or something right here. Maybe, right? Like this road. I'm just going to guess that it's that one. And then it said, "2 miles south of Cooley Height Road, the skeletal remains were found by target shooting in the area with Ritchie Dahlberg." So it was found near an old logging road which branches off of Garfield Road about 2 miles south. Yeah, so I bet you her body was found right over here. This is where Dorothy Fielding, just a guess. And look, let's see how many miles it is. Hold on. What was the miles? 2 miles? I got it 3 miles right there to Laura Ritchie's body. Although, was that the one or was it the other? now I'm confused at which one it was. Is this the one that was up high? Oh wow, look at the difference there on the map. Yeah. Well, I'm just trying my best to figure out what they're saying. And what are you confused about, Janet? We were all wondering if you were confused. Thanks for letting us know. Anyways, there's just a whole bunch of different women here in this. So we're in Dorothy Fielding. Let me put Dorothy Fielding in her correct. There we go. And also Garfield goes with her. So Laurie Ritchie's body was found right here. Ruby's body is found right around in this area. And Dorothy Fielding was found, okay, that's where her house is, but her body was found right there. So you've, okay, there you go. So you've got Ruby, Laurie, and Dorothy. Don't you think that's, I mean, that's kind of weird, you know? And not too long of a difference in time frame. You got 3 bodies found. One of them seems more related to the parent. I mean, not the parent, the ex-husband, or I guess he even ex-husband? I don't even know. I think he was I think he was separated. So let's see. The skeletal remains were found by William Dalling Cheney, who was target shooting in the area with Richard Dahlberg of North. That's weird how they always give people's addresses out. 1601 North Ash King. Said Sheriff Detective Donald R. Hadley said Rozar's store employee identification tag. So this lady was actually working at a store when she was abducted, I think. She was found near the body, so she had an identification tag that said Rosor's store employee identification tag. Found right next to her. Detective Francis J. Peck of the Police Missing Persons Bureau said Miss Fielding's wife of Jerry E. Fielding was working as a checker at the Rosor's store at Buc-ee and Division at the time of her disappearance. Hadley said in an autopsy last night shed no further light on the cause of death. King took a crew to the grave site today to sift dirt in the hopes of finding additional clues. Miss Fielding's car was found abandoned in the parking lot of the low-cost store at Garfield and Oak. Was abandoned in a parking lot of the low-cost store at Garland and Oak. Probably like a dollar store back then. Garland and Oak Street. Okay, how about Garland? Is that still there? Yeah, Jesus, man. This is Garland Street, Spokane. There it is. And the other street was Oak. Okay, so Oak. Okay, there's Oak. And right here, so there must have been right here. Wonder if it was once here, could be right there, but it's right, this is the location where her car was found, somewhere on this intersection here. Car found. And I think that's where she worked. I mean, so her car was in the parking lot. I bet you it was right there. At one point, I bet that was a store. So I'll just make the decision to put that there as a guess. Mrs. Fielding's car was found abandoned in the parking lot of the low-cost store at Garland and Oak 3 days after she disappeared. Oh, so her car wasn't there, and then somebody put it back there. Peck and Detective Charles E. Shepard of the Police Homicide Detail were working on the case today with Hadley and Detective George B. Schnee of the Sheriff's Office. Hadley said that the body was covered only by about 6 inches of dirt. He said the dead woman's underclothes were found in the foot of the grave. The body was found 32 feet from a seldom used logging road, Hadley reported. Is that the one we just did? Yeah. Right. Slaying yields no new leads. So remember earlier when I said that, I mean, I'm not sure if it comes back in, but there's Jerry Fielding versus Dorothy Fielding, and there was a divorce going here. So police and sheriff detectives were continuing their investigation, but had no new leads today in the death of Dorothy L. Fielding, 32. Sheriff Detective Donald R. Hadley and Police Detective Charles E. Shepard are in charge of the investigation. We are still interviewing her friends and relatives, Shepard said today. The body was found in a shallow grave 12 miles northwest of the city by 2 men who were in the area target shooting. Only skeletal remains were found, and so far it has been impossible to determine the cause of death. Sheriff William J. Riley has called the death a homicide. Is this interesting for you guys? Besides being confusing? I don't think it's confusing at all. They're just different stories here. They're all in Spokane, or sort of around the same time. Yeah. But we seem to hit that lull for some reason in here. Causing the stress. Alright, here we go. Slaying yields no new leads. And that's a really, I even made the goal tonight less than a normal night by dramatically less. Okay. So, slaying yields no new leads. Police and sheriff detectives were continuing their investigation but had no new leads today in the death of Dorothy L. Fielding. The body was found in a shallow grave. Yeah. So it's the same information there. And then we're going to move 2 days later after that. So then I saw this in here again. Mrs. Jerry E. Fielding. Great. So that is who that was, that divorce thing that we're looking at. I thought it was interesting that she's still called Mrs. Jerry E. Fielding. Almost like because the divorce didn't go through or something. But it says graveside services for Mrs. Jerry Fielding. Her name is Dorothy, of the same address, E1121 East Thurston, whose body was found in a shallow grave on Garfield Road Sunday. The apparent victim of a homicide will be held at 11 a.m. tomorrow in Spokane Memorial Gardens. So that means that is the same people that were getting the divorce. But it's interesting that it's Mrs. Jerry Fielding when, if you go back to that original article here, it says right here, and it's interesting because this is 1967, September 12th. And then let's go to here again. She went missing in August. So he filed for divorce, or maybe he filed for divorce thinking she ran away from him, or wanted to make it look like he thought that. Because this is August 19th is when she went missing in 1967. This is September 12th, so it's a month later, where he's filing for divorce, like, hey, well, she must have left me, so left with some other guy, so I'm getting a divorce. And then they find her body, she's dead, and then he, now he's got a grave and a service for her and everything. So that kind of makes a little sense, I guess. No leads found yet in woman slaying. After more than a week of intensive investigation, authorities have no solid leads to the slayer of Dorothy L. Fielding. That was a report today from Sheriff William J. Riley and Police Detective Lieutenant Robert E. Colleton, who are coordinating the homicide investigation. The skeletal remains of Miss Fielding's body were found April 7th in a shallow grave 12 miles northwest of the city. Dr. William E. Jones, county coroner, said today that examination of the bones has not disclosed the cause of the woman's death. Oh, hold on a second. Lost the control panel there. There it is. Dr. William E. Jones, county coroner, said today that examination of the bones has not disclosed the cause of the woman's death. We have sent some of the bones to the FBI in Washington, D.C. in hopes that they can tell us how long the body had been buried. Lieutenant Colleton said that detectives would appreciate any information from anyone who may have seen Miss Fielding after she left work as a supermarket checker at midnight last August 18th. Riley said officers have a complete blank on the gap of many months from the time Miss Fielding left work until her body was discovered. If there is anyone who feels they have information that can shed any light on the case, regardless of how minor it seems to them, the detectives want to talk to them right away. So, man, they're just struggling right out of the gate. Hey, thanks, American lady. Yeah, it would be cool if we could just polish off the goal and keep on trucking. Oh. Where is it? Yeah, then about 3 weeks after that. Yeah, I mean, see, look at that. They're just stuck. An FBI laboratory report received here today has shed no new light in the search for the slayer of Dorothy L. Fielding. Mrs. Fielding's body was found. Ocean wave. Miss Fielding's body was found April 7th in a shallow grave 12 miles northwest of Spokane. Hadley said additional evidence is being forwarded to the FBI in hopes of accurately determining the time of the woman's death. She disappeared in mid-August last year. Hadley said he and the city detectives Charles E. Shepard, who are working on the case, have talked to 60 persons to date in their continuing investigation. We still have several good leads to follow up, Hadley said. But that case, I believe, hasn't been solved either. Well, thanks for the effort there, American lady. Thanks for the effort. All right, let's get the... Now we're on to Laurie Lynn Partridge. Not the Laurie Partridge, but Laurie Lynn Partridge. And there she is right there. I was actually just looking at her case and then stumbled upon all these other ones at the same time. So the hunt underway for missing girl. Sheriff's officers and police today were searching the area around Ferris High School. So let's get that in there. Where is it? Oh, there's Ferris High School. What the heck? Well, there you go. The whole goal's met. The elevator to success is out of order. You'll have to use the stairs one step at a time. Well, there you go. Well, that's how it is over here, isn't it? Thanks, Scout Dude.
The elevator to success is out of order. You'll have to use the stairs, one step at a time. Joji Ra.
Well, there you go. I guess it's like that over here. It's like the abominable snowman on the animated, series back when we were kids. Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door. There you go. Yeah, so there you go. That's the high school. So being sought is Laurie L. Partridge, 17, daughter of Mrs. and Mrs. Kenneth L. Partridge of, I guess they used to have addresses strange over there, but it's 5405 South Custer. So that's where she went to high school. She lived right here. That's kind of a neat little house there. Laurie Partridge. Yeah, that's the house. I mean, that's a 1950-ish. I mean, that's way old. Well, cool, Janet. And thanks again, Scout Dude. Not sure we would have made it. So thank you. And I even made it lower. I was hoping it'd be simple to do. Let's see. So hunt underway for a missing girl. And so that's the address we just showed. She goes to that high school. The girl's father told sheriff's officers she left school about noon yesterday, telling a girlfriend she wasn't feeling well and was going home. The girl didn't come home and didn't show up for work at her job at a Lincoln Heights theater last evening. 4 sheriff's patrol units searched the area from the city limits south towards Tower Mountain during the night, while 3 city prowl cars searched in the Ferris High and Lincoln Heights areas. The girl is described as 5 feet tall and 105 pounds, so really little. With blonde hair and blue eyes, she was wearing a blue maxi coat with a monk-type hood, tan sweater, and plaid pants. Laurie's father, expressing conviction that his daughter had been abducted, said he was offering a $500 reward for information leading to her return. Got a whole 500, huh? Getting Scouting Dude in the spin there. Gotta open up. Let me get the second one open. Okay. Law enforcement officers have no new information on the whereabouts of Laurie L. Partridge. Since Laurie's picture was printed in yesterday's Chronicle, we have had several calls from persons who think they might have seen her, he said. Detectives are following up on all leads, but have made no real progress in the disappearance. The girl, a Ferris High School student, left school Wednesday at noon and hasn't been seen since. That's crazy. So she just leaves school because she's not feeling well and is never seen again. Missing girl's mother, backgrounds, mystery. So now we get to... This is a much deeper article into this story. This is from 1975 here. So this is January. She went missing on December 4th of the year before. So it's not too long later. A scraggy Christmas tree with unopened presents beneath it still stands in the living room of Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth L. Partridge of 5405 South Custer, a reminder the family's oldest daughter has been missing since December 4th. It's not that the family needs a reminder that Laurie L. Partridge, 17, has been missing since she left Joel E. Ferris High School shortly after noon that day to walk 2 miles to home. We were going to take the tree down, said her mother, but her brothers and sisters wanted to leave it up until Laurie could come home and open her presents. The fact Laurie is missing is uppermost in the minds of the entire family all the time. It's obvious in their faces when the phone rings, when they open the mail, when they come home from work or school, and the front door opens. It isn't that the family is just sitting back and waiting for something to happen. They have gone deeply into debt, borrowing money to check out any and every possible lead, all of which have ended in absolutely nothing, Mrs. Partridge said last week. The family has borrowed $5,000 to enlist the help of famed psychic, what a joke, these people should be shot. Famed psychic Peter Hurkos to help find Laurie. Hurkos, the man who gained international fame when he helped the Boston police solve the Boston Strangler case, yeah, I'm sure he did, has offered several possible leads that have carried Partridge to sites in 5 states. On the first take, the Hurkos described Laurie quite well, Mrs. Partridge said. Okay, so on the first, so this is going to be about a psychic, right? Let's see. Hurkos, the man who gained it. Okay. On the first take, Hurkos described Laurie quite well, Miss Partridge said. Yeah, after he read the newspaper, yeah. He said right off, the police thought she was a runaway, but he claimed a man and a woman picked her up. Hurkos is still working on the case, Miss Partridge said, but I'm afraid I don't have much faith in him. Okay, well, good for you. Is Laurie a runaway or was... Let's see. I think I already went to that page here. So look, that's pretty long. I mean, look at this thing here. Or was she abducted as she walked home from school that rainy day? There's no question in her parents' minds. They know she was abducted. School officials at Ferris, where she was a senior, tend to doubt she would run away based on her records and their personal acquaintance with her. The same holds true for her friends. Law enforcement officials in the Spokane County Sheriff's Office admit they don't know and agree there are good arguments for both points of view, runaways or abduction. It has been an ordeal for the family, and Mrs. Partridge openly discusses. Making the ordeal worse is the number of rumors that have circulated about the girl's fate, and many of them have gotten back to the family. To put those to rest, there has been no trace of the girl, dead or alive, since her disappearance, and that has been confirmed by the family, school officials, law enforcement, and area hospitals. A bit of background on the family is required to understand the runaway theories advance. The Partridges moved to Spokane in late August from Fountain Valley, California, when Partridge was transferred by the outdoor advertising firm to which he works. When they left, Laurie had a boyfriend who Mrs. Partridge said, I will admit, we didn't like very much. When Laurie enrolled at Ferris, well, that's sort of interesting, like, but wouldn't she be alive out there at this point? I mean, if it was a guy that loved her and she wanted to go with him, I doubt it's like ends up in a murder right away. When Laurie enrolled at Ferris, she told her family she hated the school and the people in it. She put on one of her school forms. She wanted to return to California and graduate with her friends this June. She told her parents the same thing. Then, in mid-September, the boyfriend from California came to Spokane in an attempt to talk her into going back. Well, that's interesting. Even urging her to run away from home if necessary. Shortly before she disappeared, Laurie became engaged to a 20-year-old man she had met in Spokane. What? So, wait, what? So what happened to this guy? When was this? That's confusing to me. When Laurie enrolled at Ferris, she told her she hated the school. She told her parents the same thing. Then in mid-September, the boyfriend from California came to Spokane in an attempt to talk to her into going back, even urging her to run away. Shortly before she disappeared, which was in December, Laurie became engaged to a 20-year-old man she had met in Spokane. That almost makes it seem like the boyfriend got enraged and came over and abducted her. Said, hey, let's talk. Can you talk? And he just got... I mean, you think she might have told the boyfriend that she was engaged? Shortly before she just... I mean, if he was that into her, where he drove all the way to Spokane from California to convince her to run away with him, and then he finds out just months later she's engaged to somebody else. Man, that is a recipe for disaster with young people like that. She told her parents the same thing. Then in mid-September, the boyfriend from California came to Spokane in an attempt to talk her into going back, even urging her, come run away with me. And then just 3 months later, shortly before she disappeared, Laurie became engaged to a 20-year-old man she had met in Spokane, which led to speculation that she took off because she had been pressured into the engagement. What? By her parents as an alternative to the California boyfriend. Wow, really? Okay, so then it sort of now switched it around again. Almost like an arranged marriage, you know. Like any teenager, she missed her lifelong California friends, Miss Partridge said. Yet, yes, at first, Laurie really disliked it here. She really wanted to go back and graduate with her class. We sat down on her bed one night and talked about going back, and I told her if she really wanted to, we would make arrangements, Miss Partridge said. Under California regulations, Laurie would have enough credits to graduate from high school at the end of January. The parents told her they would allow her to go back and stay with some former neighbors at the time so she could graduate. Oh, so they were neighbors at that time. Okay. But then she got involved in school, newspaper, and became the advertising editor, her mother said. And then when fall arrived and the autumn leaves started to fall, she said she really loved it here. She also had started going to the school's games and was making friends. Shortly after that, she met the young man to whom she became engaged. Laurie has always been quite religious, Miss Partridge said. And she told me she felt she told me she felt she were meant for him. That doesn't make sense. I think it meant was. She told me she was meant for him. We liked him the moment he first came to the house. He also was religious, and they really hit it off. The fiancé, who has a farm in 9 Mile Falls area, went to the parents and asked if he could marry the girl. The couple had planned to go get the rings. On Thursday of the week, she disappeared. And the mother said, we had told her when the California boyfriend was here that if she really wanted to go back with him, she could go. She chose not to. As for wanting to return to... But I could see the California boy being pissed off. Can't you guys? As for wanting to return to California and visit her friends, such a trip was arranged for the day after Christmas. Miss Partridge also said Laurie had just spent all her money on Christmas presents and was to get a paycheck from her job in a couple more days. So why wouldn't she wait until she had some money before running away? Laurie has never been the kind of girl... Every time you see a case where there's paychecks on the counter that weren't cashed, they didn't just leave. Laurie has never been the kind of girl who would just go running around for no reason, her mother said. There is one clue that tends to substantiate Mrs. Partridge's feelings that her daughter was abducted. She and John had purchased tickets to attend the Beach Boys concert at the Coliseum December 9th. Miss Partridge said, John gave them to her to keep and laughingly said he was always losing things. So he was always losing things so she could keep the tickets. The tickets were purchased at the Bon Marché several days before she disappeared. Later, officials at the store helped trace the numbers on the tickets, and part of one number was remembered by the fiancé. Several detectives were at the concert watching people come in the door. Wow, that's crazy. Looking for the girl. They feel sure she didn't show up, Miss Partridge said, but when they went back afterwards and checked through all the ticket stubs, they came up with the tickets. Oh my God, that's crazy. So it means someone had used them. Oh man, that's crazy. I was thinking they were going to say that, but man, they looked around and they didn't see her coming in. That's just brutal because back then there's no way to tell who used those tickets. What about the day the girl disappeared? The family and law enforcement officials have been unable to trace her partway home. So what about the day the girl disappeared? The family and law enforcement officials have been able, to trace her partway home. Under rules at Ferris, a student whose classes are done earlier than normal can go home, which Laurie chose to do that day because her mother said she was not feeling well. Usually, she will go to the journalism room and make some calls about ads, her mother said, and wait for the bus or I will pick her up. That particular day, however, Miss Partridge had to attend a meeting, and because Laurie wasn't feeling well, she decided to walk. Isn't that crazy again? How many times have we talked about there's something that changed and you get this stuff like that? Because they wouldn't know, KK, I just explained it to you. This isn't like today. How would you know at the door? Hey, they didn't know the exact numbers. They traced them down later. Remember, they just... usually, she will go to the journalism room. Okay, that particular day, however, Miss Partridge had to attend a meeting, and because Laurie wasn't feeling well, she decided to walk. On that day, Laurie, for the first time, chose a different route home. The girl apparently was seen by residents at various houses for about 2/3 of the way home, up to an area where there are no house area where there are no houses. Okay, no house area where there's no houses. That makes sense. Now they didn't know the. It sounds like he just had a partial number at one point. We know for a fact she never reached the bottom of the hill, Miss Partridge says, referring to Brown Mountain, where the family lives. People up to the place where there are no houses say they saw her walking. After her disappearance, the family found a letter Laurie had written to her sister, Cindy's boyfriend in California. Let's see. After her disappearance, the family found a letter Laurie had written to her sister Cindy's boyfriend in California. And it gave absolutely no indication she was thinking of running away. Why would she write a letter to her sister's boyfriend now? I don't know. Maybe things were different back then. I feel very strongly somebody knows something, the anguished mother said. We have been told that if we could offer a big enough reward, Partridge said, put up $500 when the girl first disappeared, someone will come forward, but we can't afford it now. And also asking questions like, why didn't they check the door, the people at the door for the whole Beach Boy concert? If they didn't, they just didn't. So it doesn't really help. There's nothing we can, doesn't help solve anything, or doesn't help wonder, or doesn't do anything. It's just kind of like, well, I guess they didn't. So. Tatting on her sister. Huh? What do you mean tattling? What are you talking about? But doesn't the guy that stand out the most out of the story, wouldn't that be the boyfriend from California? I mean, that's the one that stands out the most, because you got a guy that drove from California all the way up to his girlfriend and tried to get her to come back with him, and then she's engaged just a little bit later. And then I could see a scenario where he drives over there. It's kind of random, though, that she left school that day. And he sees her, and she's willing to get into his car, but then she starts saying these things, and he just, loses it. Does something, and... I mean, out of all the people here that are in the story, there could just be a random person. He's the one that I would have looked at the most for doing that. That's what I'm saying. Spokane girl vanished December 4th. Now we're in January 20th, so that's the next day. Oh, that's basically the same thing. So, and this is 1978, April 7th. So now this is 3 years later. It's more than 3 years since Laurie Lynn Partridge vanished. Her disappearance remains a mystery. I'm still a loss to say what happened, said Sheriff Detective Lieutenant Robert A. Sennett, who has headed the investigation. It was on December 4th, 1974, that Laurie, then 17, a senior at Ferris High School, started walking towards her home. Maximum effort. She never reached home and has not been heard from since. Maximum effort is the way Senate today describes the search for Laurie since her disappearance. He said as many as 4 detectives at a time have worked on the case. We still follow up on leads on this case, he said. We get reports from other departments which sound like they might tie into the case, and we follow up, but so far with negative results. Hey, all right, 41 months for Jessica Schubach. Senate said that many people reported they saw Laurie after she left school that December day, and they were questioned. But what happened after she disappeared remains a mystery. No physical evidence has ever been found that would indicate there was any foul play involved. See, that would fit the ex-boyfriend, the 17-year-old, because she probably would have just got into his car. Thank you, Jessica Schubach. Jessica Schubach. Hey, I like that one. I gotta record that. Jessica Schubach. That's a Cylon version of it. Bye, y'all. Come on. Baby, you're down in the other battle tower. I was so much better at that when I was a kid. I just can't do it anymore. Anyways, thanks, Jessica Schubach. No physical evidence has ever been found that would indicate there was foul play. Recalling the investigation, Senate said that investigators learned that it wasn't uncommon for Laurie to walk home just as she set out to do that December day. Sheriff Department records show that Laurie was described as 5 feet tall, 105 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. When last seen, she was wearing a blue coat, tan sweater, and tan pants. Could she have met foul play by accepting a ride in a car? Investigators have asked themselves, why would she accept a ride almost making it home, though? I think she would get into a car with somebody she knew. Investigators have asked themselves this question, but after talking to everyone who said they'd seen Laurie that afternoon, could come up with no concrete answers to that question. Despite the number of hours I've spent on this case, I still have formed no real conclusion, Senate said. I really don't know if Laurie is a runaway or if she did meet foul play. Information about Laurie's disappearance was given to the law enforcement agencies. Only recently, sheriff detectives checked out leads in Los Angeles. Well, there you go. That proved a dead end, the lieutenant said. We even ran polygraph lie detector tests on people in other states who knew Laurie in the hopes of getting a lead, but nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then this is 2018, so this is kind of cool. So it looks like somebody who Laurie was an aunt. So like probably her, let's see, I guess her sister's child or son, or I guess a brother too, right? So let's see what this says. Today marks 44 years. I mean, this is crazy, right? Since the disappearance of Laurie Partridge. There was no more articles after that. Laurie Partridge from Spokane, Washington, on December 4th, 1974. If you know me personally, you know I'm a volunteer advocate for missing people and their families, and you likely know my aunt's story. My mother, Kimberly, comes from a family of 6 kids. She's the 4th Partridge kid, the oldest being her sister, Laurie Partridge. Her birth name was actually Laura, but everyone knows her as Laurie, a name she chose to go by. Not many people know this about her. I never got to meet my Aunt Laurie, as my mom was 10 years old when her sister went missing. Growing up, my mother would talk to my brothers and I about Laurie's abduction. It was very difficult back then for my mom to talk about it, and it still is today. She still can't talk about her without crying. It is difficult for all the surviving family members to talk about. My granny died in 2004, never finding out what happened or getting answers for what happened to her beloved oldest daughter. My grandpa is alive at 91 years old. This is 2018 article. He has waited all these years for answers with hope to someday find justice for his daughter, holding the perpetrator accountable, providing they are still alive, and give his daughter a proper burial. It's what we all want. Some people have asked us how we can say we know she is deceased without knowing for sure. She has never been found, nor her body or bones, no confessions, no trace. How can we say that? We have no other choice but to believe that. Laurie would not have run away. Her family knows this, and it's unlikely that she's been held captive for over 40 years. Until her remains are found or someone comes forward, Laurie's remaining living family lives in a painful, unknowing, emotional limbo. God, how many times I almost worded it just like that? That is exactly right. They're in limbo and they're just nothing. their whole lives. Now, this niece doesn't feel quite like that because she didn't know her or anything, but all the sisters and the parents, everybody. Another thing we have been told is we should just put this behind us. She's been missing this long. Why can't we just forget it? But when you have somebody, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If you have somebody that dies in your family and somebody comes up and says, come on, it's time to get over it, turn around and never speak to that person again. That means they're idiots, okay? And they don't give two shits about you at all. They just like it when you're having fun, okay? So you can just screw those people. All right. Laurie would not have run away. Her family knows this, and it's unfortunately that she has been held captive for over 40 years. And let's see. What is it saying there? Some people have asked us how we can say we know she's deceased. How can we say that? We have no other choice but to believe that. Laurie would not have run away. Her family knows this, and it's unlikely that she's been held captive for over 40 years. Until her remains are found and or someone comes forward, Laurie's remaining living family lives in a painful, unknowing, emotional limbo. Another thing we have been told is we should just put this behind us. She's been missing this long. Why can't we just forget about her and let it be? Well, screw you, MFer. Some people just won't understand what it's like to have a missing loved one unless they're in your shoes. Now, there's people that say that, and they don't really, they're just idiots. Unbelievable. And it's a pain you would not want to wish on anyone. Also, some people are just plain insensitive. Well, there you go. Most family of the missing cannot just move on. Laurie personally was a caring person who would never have stopped looking if it was another family member who went missing. She is valuable. We cannot give up hope that someday justice will prevail. Being an advocate, I have heard of these type of things being said to other families as well. My friend Robin, whose mother, Claudia Leslie Wells, is also missing. I work with her along with a team of volunteers at Missing Homeless and has been told maybe she doesn't want to be found. It infuriates her. Laurie Lynn Partridge was born May 31st, 1957 in Santa Monica, California. She would be 61 years old. She was only 17 when she went missing. She'd be 65 or so, 66 now. But my mom's family moved from Fountain Valley, California to Spokane, Washington in 1974. Laurie was a member of the drill team and wrote for the school newspaper. She had many friends and 20-year-old fiancé. They had plans to live on his family farm, care for animals, and have many children. They both loved children. Laurie loved Jesus and enjoyed singing and playing her guitar. She was known to play and sing for her younger siblings and neighborhood kids. My mom has Laurie's songbook that Laurie had put together with her favorite songs she loved to play. As a child, I remember looking through Laurie's songbook and imagining that she was what she was like. Laurie and her fiancé were very excited about their engagement and planned on picking out engagement rings on December 5th, but she went missing on the 4th. See, that again, it sort of sounds like the boyfriend. Oh, yeah, we're engaged. We're going to, I don't know. That's where I would be looking. Laurie left Joel E. Ferris High School about 12:30 p.m. She had cramps and wanted to leave early. Cramps. Does that mean was she pregnant? And maybe that's why they were getting married and, she called both her mom and dad. It could also just be her time of the month too, right? She called both her mom and dad, who were each working and could not leave. They told her to stay and wait for the bus. With no one available to give her a ride, she decided to walk the 2+ miles home. See, that's interesting. If you're not feeling well with cramps, are you really going to want to walk 2 miles? And you want to leave school early? in the bus at 5400 South Custer Road, thinking it might ease her... Oh, there you go. She thought maybe it would ease her cramps. Laurie was reported missing after she failed to show up at home for work that night at Lincoln Heights Theater. She was last seen by a neighbor walking south on... Let's see where that is. Let's see. But now we know, like, this is where she lives here. So, don't you think these are interesting, you guys? Like, these are stories you're just never going to hear anywhere else. I can just tell you that right now. So there's Ferris High School, and as a crow flies, that's 1.57, but walking, it's like 2. And so we got Custer Road thinking, might ease her cramps. Laurie was reported missing after she failed. So she was at the... She was last seen by a neighbor walking south on Havana Street. Okay, so that's Havana, but it probably... Yeah, Havana. So what was she doing? Okay, so I guess she could walk like this and then come down. So this is Havana Street right here. And they said she didn't make it down the hill. What does it look like from the side? No, they're on a hill though. Yeah, anyways, it's pretty close. I mean, there's a school and there's Havana, so somewhere just right in that area there. She was last seen by a neighborhood walking south on Havana Street. Oh, there you go, between 43rd and 49th. So, okay, there's 42nd, 43rd. So yeah, I mean, I got it right in the right area here. I said between 43rd and 49th. There's 44th, 43rd, 44th, probably 45th, 46th. And maybe this used to be that, like it continued on. Huh. But how would a boyfriend have known that she was off school early walking? So that makes that a little difficult, right? Like the boyfriend, sure, he'd be pissed off unless he was totally stalking her and literally driving and walking and like she's walking and he's following from behind. But how would she have known that she wasn't feeling well and was going to get off early? The ex-boyfriend from California. The police initially and wrongfully classified her disappearance as a runaway, even though her family insisted she would never run away. After she was reported missing, Laurie's father and second oldest child walked the route she would have walked to get home. They knocked on every neighbor's door and spoke to anyone along the route that answered their door or who they came across. They were able to build a timeline that Laurie was, where Laurie was, and the approximate time she disappeared based on accounts of people who saw her walking by. Laurie's dad had purchased 2 tickets to the Beach Boys concert for her. The concert was scheduled for December 9th, 1974, at the Spokane Coliseum. These tickets were in her purse at the time of her abduction. Laurie's family begged for permission to check the ticket numbers of people coming in. Now, see, this might answer your question, KK, if you're still out there. Her mom had the numbers written down. Oh, there you go. So there you go. Police refused to let them. Wow. That's crazy. So earlier it didn't say that. It said that they had a partial number. They were trying to probably CYA shit there. Her mom had the numbers written down. Police refused to let them. What a joke. Jesus. Police refused to let them as they said it would hold up the people getting into the concert. Who gives a shit? However, police did show up and looked around for Laurie. Well, that's not the point. You want to know who the hell had their freaking tickets, you idiots. Who gives a shit if the Laurie, seeing Laurie means that you were just totally convinced and tunnel visioned on her being a runaway. Yeah, but she was going to go to the concert, though. But what's really more important is whoever abducted her got into her purse, and here's what would have probably likely happened, is that the person would have sold the tickets to somebody, but maybe the people that have the tickets would remember who sold the tickets. Or it could even be the abductor themselves. What a joke. Jesus, what? That's kind of shit. Police refused to let them, as they said it would hold up people getting into the concert. However, police did show up and looked around for Laurie. Later, it was discovered that the tickets were used because they were general seating and all tickets came in. But authorities were unable to determine who used them. It was the biggest lead they had. Okay, well, not anymore. Police and family also... You know how livid I would be if I was that family member? Police and family also spoke to a witness who came forward in 1974. A teenage girl that was riding her horse around 4:15 p.m. and spotted a man in his 40s and 50s in a field holding a rifle standing with a girl who she thought looked like Laurie. And she described the clothes as to what Laurie wore. They were standing in front of a vehicle described as a white truck with a van back end and a darker colored door. When the witness looked back, the girl was no longer visible. The sighting was near the route Laurie last walked. When the witness arrived home, she told her mom what she saw. Later that night, oh wow, so this was before it was even a story. She said that. Oh wow, this is a really important story here. They were standing in front of a vehicle described as a white truck with a van back end and a darker colored door. When the witness looked back, the girl was no longer visible. The sighting was near the route Laurie last walked. When the witness arrived home, basically you could say it startled her so much that she told her mom about what she had seen. Then, later that night, they saw Laurie's story on the local news and contacted police. That's a big story there. Nothing came of it. Yeah, well, because there's nothing to come of it. But you gave probably the correct description of what happened. Laurie was very much loved by her family, and when she was abducted, it tore her family apart. Family DNA has been submitted by multiple family members to build a genetic profile in hope of identifying her. Wouldn't that be amazing if somehow we stumbled upon that case at some point? And I would play this whole show. That'd be absolutely nuts. Yeah, EC, they're sort of like that now too. I think the law should be that if the parents are insisting this isn't like them, you immediately change course and you have to treat it as an absolute missing person or abduction. If they don't have they've run away 57 times and they're saying, hey, this isn't like them at all. They got straight A's. They were supposed to come here today, blah, 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 blah. Just listen to them, for God's sakes. It's kind of like, the Kenikia Jenkins case was like that, right? She's dying in a freezer because she locked herself in and she was drunk. And you got the mother saying, hey, where is she, man? She'll show up somewhere. She'll be somewhere. Police also received reports about a green Ford Pinto station wagon in the area, possibly following Laurie, and days later, someone also contacted police and made a report that they believed they spotted the missing 17-year-old being held captive in the back of a Pinto. These leads never went anywhere either. There were a couple of other tips that Laurie's dad and fiance followed up on, including them driving to Idaho. Again, nothing viable was found. Laurie was very much loved by her family, and sounds like that fiance was a good dude there. I mean, he was. Laurie was very much loved by her family, and when she was abducted, it tore her family apart. Family DNA has been submitted by multiple family members to build a genetic profile in the hope of identifying her. Remains are found, several potential suspects. And see, that's the thing, is we have our own DNA fund. So the money, when you guys help support my channel, it helps support what I do. And then we've donated we're getting close to $60,000 that we've put into a DNA fund for identifying Jane and John Does. That's why every single night I try to raise funds. I know what it takes to do what I'm doing, okay? So, I mean, now it's like you see the goals and stuff. You know, it just is what it is, man. You know, so people want to support, and, you know, daily basis. I know it's not the easiest thing in the world for you guys to do. It's also not easy for me to do these shows every single day, but we do what we can, and because of your generosity, we've donated $147,000 since January 2020 directly from the income to this channel, right? So I make an income too, but I think if you compare me to basically every single other channel who gets tons and tons of super chats every single day, and they give absolutely nothing. How do you know, Gray? They just don't tell anybody. Well, listen, I think all the viewers of every channel that donates wants to see what the person they watch does. You know, do they help people out and all that kind of stuff? And we do, so we make a huge difference. You know, we've given NCMEC $20,000. We've given Texas Equisearch, around that number. Like, we've given Texas Equisearch 20, Rain around 20. You know, all these organizations a huge amount of money over the last 3 years. So just doing that, we've made a huge difference to those people. Okay, so hey, thank you, American lady. Yeah, so I would say, like, you're looking at the screen right there, like, I pay taxes too, right? And then YouTube. So this is how it works. Let me just throw this out here. I mean, if you're interested, right now there's $214 on the screen just for tonight, right? Okay, so YouTube takes 30%, right? So then we're looking at, let's say it was just $200, it'd be $140 left, but it's more. So let's just say $150. Then after that, I have to pay taxes, like 25% on the $150. So, then we're looking at $113, whatever. Let's see, what would it be? So it'd be 200, and it'd be 150. Then you take out taxes. It's hard to do with a 150 number, but if it was 100, I'd say it'd be about $110 left, right, after I pay the taxes. So then I'm going to be donating $55-$60 out of the remaining portion of that, which sucks. That's why PayPal's so much more efficient, because there's no money taken out of it. But, super chats are great too, because it's sort of fun. You got the shit going on the screen and stuff like that, and I don't discourage people from doing it. So, anyways, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, Clarkio. Now, there's people out there that think it sucks that I don't give every nickel that I bring in on my show, but it's just so ludicrous. So the way people think is that you have to give every nickel or nothing. If you give nothing, they don't care. If you give half, they care, because you should have gave everything. But I spend like 7 or 8 hours every single day of the year doing these shows. Okay? Yeah, I do. I think I work harder than almost any other YouTuber out there. I don't have time even to do the little charts and graphs that people put up on the screen. I can make a trigger bunny, though. I'm pretty good at those. I got some really good trigger bunnies. Where is that one? I don't even know where I put it. Is it here? Oh, hell, I don't even know. It's somewhere. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. I'm a trigger bunny. I'm not your honey, sonny. No, because you're a trigger bunny. I'm a trigger bunny. I'm not your honey, sonny. I know because you're a trigger bunny. I know because you're a trigger bunny. I want some money. I'm a trigger bunny. Give me some money, said the trigger bunny. There we go. He's fundraising. The bunny. Give me some money. I'm a trigger bunny. Hey, don't you like it when I move them around, right? So you go like this. Why? I have to manually move them, but like it's. I could probably just slide it around. See that? Oh yeah. Yeah. Boom, boom. Yeah. Thanks, Shannon Lewis. Yeah. All right. Where were we here? Oh, here we go. Laurie was very much loved by her family. What year was this again? 1974, huh? Several potential suspects were questioned by detectives, including serial killer Ted Bundy and Stanley Bernson. Hundreds of interviews and polygraphs were conducted. All were determined unsubstantiated. Bundy was determined to be in Utah at the time of her disappearance from his credit card receipts. Stanley Bernson was traveling produce salesman who lived in Spokane and had a route close to where Laurie was abducted. My mom requested several times over the years to have detectives question him again, as he is still in prison for the abduction and murders of young women and suspected of killing several more. Wow. Well, let me get this guy's name. We're going to have to check him out. I mean, see what I'm saying, you guys? There's a freaking serial killer in Spokane anyways. All right? So I'm going to have to... I told you, there's just a lot of stuff. I've done many, many cases of things going on in Spokane over the years. So what's this guy's name? Stanley Bernson. Thank you, Matthew Ludovico. So he was a traveling produce salesman who lived in Spokane and had a route close to where Laurie was abducted. My mom requested several times over the years to have detectives question him again, as he's still in prison for the abduction and murders of young women and suspected of killing several more. In July of this year, 2018, the detective on Laurie's case drove out to Walla Walla, where Bernson is incarcerated, and questioned him again. He denied having any involvement in her disappearance. Her ex-boyfriend and fiancé were also extensively questioned. Her fiancé was never considered a suspect. But guess what? The ex-boyfriend was, because she didn't. See right there? Her ex-boyfriend and fiancé were also extensively questioned. Her fiancé was never considered a suspect. Okay, so what you're saying in that sentence is her ex-boyfriend was, right? I mean, in a subtle way, that's what that's saying. Because you clarified just that one person. You know what I'm talking about? So there you go, right there. Laurie had a brown mole on her right cheek. The clothing she was described as wearing was a long navy blue coat with a hood, a tan V-neck sweater, and burgundy tan plaid pants. Her shoes were faded blue Oxford denim with a crepe sole. She carried a brown leather purse with a blue flower design and braided shoulder strap. There is information on the internet and elsewhere stating that the contents of Laurie's purse were found 2 days after her abduction. This is not true. Her purse or the contents of her purse were never found. Her family has verified this with detectives. There you go. Laurie is featured on the Ace of Diamonds and Washington's Cold Case playing cards that are used by the prison inmates. Through research, I found, as of 2016, the cards have resulted in approximately 600 tips. Many have proven useless, but the program is indeed considered a success, as the cards have resulted in 9 cold cases being solved. Yes. Well, there you go. That was that story. I thought that was really interesting. That was Laurie Lynn Partridge. So, man, what time is it? Well, I gotta go blow my nose. Might need some more energy, guys, for the... I got 2 more. I did have 2 more, but maybe I'll just bail on those. I gotta get your guys's. I'm gonna bail on them, but I'll continue them because this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 articles. And then, well, how about I'll do this one from 1982. That's just a short one, really quick, and then I'll save the other one. Maybe you guys will remember some of it. So this was kind of weird. So it says, police said today a $500 reward. This one, somebody that didn't die though, is offered through the secret. This is 1982 in Spokane. To the witness identity of a man who kidnapped, robbed, and raped an 8-year-old brownie scout selling Girl Scout cookies Saturday near a Northside convenience store. In announcing the reward, Detective Lieutenant Leland Elliott said, "We just don't have any leads." For many Spokane residents, reports of the incident were a chilling reminder of a similar but more tragic incident 23 years ago. So there's another case I was going to do. The victim in March of 1959 was named Candy Rogers. Her murder has never been solved. In Saturday's incident, police said the girl was selling cookies in front of the 7-Eleven store at Monroe and Garland. Oh, let's do that one. There it is, right there. And then Garland again, huh? It's the second. Garland was mentioned in the other. Remember? So right there, it was Garland and... that's crazy. I bet you that 7-Eleven's still here. 7-Elevens are basically, they never disappear. They just... Well, maybe this one did. You think that was a 7-Eleven right there? At one point? I wonder if that's the theater that one worked at too, right? That's the old theater right there. See, that's where you buy the tickets. Weird. Anyways, in Saturday's incident, police said the girl was selling cookies in front of the 7-Eleven store at Monroe and Garland about 3:30 p.m. when a man standing in an alley near the store beckoned the girl to approach on the pretense of buying a box of cookies. Police said the suspect, described as white, in his late 30s, 5'11", 150 pounds, with shoulder-length, sandy blonde hair, shoved the victim into his car, drove to an isolated field, raped her, robbed her of $46 she had made from selling cookies, then released her in the 4400 block of North Division about 3 hours after the abduction. I mean, what a lucky... I mean, in some ways, I mean, it's shocking that this person didn't kill her. Elliot said the assailant... Hey, happy Mother's Day out there, Zozo. Elliot said the assailant had covered the girl with a green jacket and told her to stay down while he drove to the unknown area. So he put her in the car, had her duck down and put a green jacket over her. Then while he drove to the unknown area where she was raped. The assailant's car was described as a light-colored, full-size sedan with oversized rear tires. After the rape, Elliot said the man again covered the girl with the jacket and drove back to town, releasing her at about 6:15 p.m. The girl went to a nearby house and the residents contacted police. Elliot said the girl was taken to a Deaconess hospital where an examination confirmed the rape. God, I hope they kept that DNA. This is 1982, too. He said detectives who had talked with the family described the young victim as very afraid. In both last weekend's incidents and the Candy Rogers case, the young scouts were selling the fundraising food items by themselves. So that was the 1959 one also. Scout officials strongly advise that pairs of scouts maintain a buddy system when selling cookies or candy and recommend that a parent accompany the youngsters whenever possible. Judy Edlin, executive director of Spokane Girl Scout Council, said she heard about the attack Sunday morning. A news account of the 1959 ordeal said a stunned, angry city called for apprehension of the pervert who assaulted and strangled the winsome youngster. Candace Elaine Rogers, 9, had begun selling campfire mints near her home in the 2100 block of West Mission about 4 p.m. on March 6, 1959. I think I'm going to do that one, I think. Would you guys be interested in doing the Candy Rogers one? Let's see, 1959, Candy Rogers. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to add that in there. I was reading about that one, and now it's in these articles. When the youngster did not return home in the early evening hours, her mother called police. Investigators found 2 boxes of the mint along Pettit Drive. 1979, Morse was flown here to plead guilty to Spokane Murders. Let's see, maybe it's solved. Let's see. The massive citywide search continued. This is for the Rogers case, involving at one point more than 1,200 persons. The day after the disappearance, 3 Air Force personnel were killed when their search helicopter hit power lines. How come that sounds familiar? Did I do this one? I did do that one. It's right there. I did Candy Rogers. I knew that one. That sounded... We actually did this whole case and mapped it all out. See? The mints. She was... Here, let me see this. Yeah. They actually found her mints in these different areas. Yeah, we actually covered this one. Yeah, I was thinking right when I read that last part, I was like, wait, that sounds familiar, and there it is. So, somewhere in my playlist out there, it's in there. And it sounds like, let's see what they say here, though. The Candy Rogers case remains unsolved. So this is 82. But maybe it's been solved since then. For a time, attention focused on Hugh Morse, who was serving a life term. Police said then that Morse had been in Spokane area at the time of the Rogers incident. He became a suspect in 3 unsolved Spokane murder cases. In 1979, Morse was flown here to plead guilty to 2 Spokane murders. So you see how there's this other Spokane person that's killing too, that's not the serial killer that we were talking. I mean, there's just a ton of serial killers in Spokane. Elliott today said the Rogers case did not immediately occur to him in connection with the Saturday incident. The circumstances are so different, he said. I'll have to go look that up. I did that one quite a while ago. And it looks like 2021, as a matter of fact. So it looks like I did it on November 19th, 2021, if anybody wants to go look at that one. It could be that it's a... Let me check something really fast. Now, a lot of my videos are private currently. Let's see. Her name was Candy Rogers. That it? Yeah, there it is. And that one, no, it's public. So this one is November 19th, 2021. That's when I did the video. I think I just said that. So here you go. I'll put it in the chat right here. That's the video to Candy Rogers that take it.
This video can...
Let's see. Looks like not sure where in the video I talk about it.
Maybe he took that job over there.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where in the video, but I see it in the title, so should be in there. Alright, so there you go. If anybody wants to check it out, it's in the chat here near the end of the show. So I guess I won't need to be doing that one. Now the Boy Scouts, it says the Inland Empire Council of the Boy Scouts of America in response to the recent rape of an 8-year-old Brownie Scout announced today that it has volunteered to provide Eagle Scouts and older Boy Scouts to accompany Girl Scouts during their current cookie sales. So, you know, shit, I hope they collected DNA. They should be able to solve that one. Campfire has pledged $500 reward for information leading to the arrest of the man involved in the April 3rd rape, kidnapping, and robbery of an 8-year-old Brownie Scout who was selling Girl Scout cookies. The reward was offered through the Secret Witness Program, which allows people to anonymously provide information on crimes. Let's see. It doesn't really have any more information on the case. It's just... I just thought that was crazy. I mean, just look how freaky that is, man. It's also kind of strange. I gotta admit that in 1982, it's a little weird to have let an 8-year-old walking around on the streets. Because 82 isn't like 1960 something. 82, you know, we're getting into that phase where, you know, helicopter moms starting up. Too many weirdos out there. So, I mean, if it was 1960 or 70, it wouldn't bother me, but 82 is kind of late in the game there. You know, and it's not a small town like I was thinking. I mean, it's not huge, but it's got 180,000 people in it. It's like Eugene, Oregon, or, you know, something like that. It's a lot of people. It's not like Delphi, you know, little tiny town where people do it, you know, run around like they used to do with bikes and so forth. So Lillian, hey, did you watch last night's show? I thought you probably would have liked it. I thought it was a pretty, like, just, even though it was 3 hours long, I didn't really stop talking and went through the whole damn thing. Seems like by the time that sucker was over, people should have been like, oh yeah, Richard Allen, there's no doubt. And also that there would be a connection with Keegan Kline and Richard Allen, right? Like, it just feels like that's kind of where you're stuck. There's almost nothing else that you can come up with. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It just sort of came to me how to get through the whole thing. You know, you don't need to talk about all these other things. You just sort of, you know, sort of relate it to the Hannah Shakespeare lady that did the documentary, and it just seemed to work. So, anyways, thanks, Danielle. All right, you guys. Well, that's going to do it. There is one more, but I'll do that one. Maybe I'll... shit. What time is it? 2:44. I did Partridge. I'll just have to do this one. Okay, you guys. We're just going to have to get through it. There's only one more. I don't know. It would be so random to bring it up another time. I think I was kind of on a roll. So tonight, pretend that we're still on that roll, and let's get those numbers up. All right, so here we go. 1976. This is... Wait, I think this one... hold on. Oh, yeah. Now let's just do it anyways. This is Nanette Marie Martin. That's her picture right there. Police hunting missing girl. Police intensified search this afternoon for a 13-year-old junior high school girl who disappeared with 100 newspapers. So it's kind of similar, right? Like, she's 100 newspapers early this morning. She's out there delivering newspapers. This is 1976, 6 years before that other girl with the brownies, right? This is a 13-year-old. Or the brownie girl that was selling mints, I think it was. Police intensified search this afternoon for a 13-year-old junior high school girl who disappeared with 100 newspapers early this morning while delivering her route on the city's north side. At this time, we do not feel she's a runaway, Detective Sergeant Cliff S. Harding said after a squad of uniformed police officers canvassed the neighborhood where Nanette Marie Martin disappeared. Police specialist, James R. Howe said the teenager, who will be 14 on April 30th, left her home at... let's get to her now. No, it's way down here. Alright. She left her home at 723 West Spofford. So right here. It's weird. I never met another Nanette, but remember Nanette Crentel case, the fireman? That we got to redo that one again. That one was 5 years ago. I think it's time to dust off the Nanette Crentel case. That thing was crazy. I got the whole family on talking. That's the fire chief guy that likely killed his own wife in a fire, and he's pulling up to the scene on a camera, and he looks as calm as hell. He doesn't look like he had a care in the world. I don't know, half of you probably don't even remember that. Some of you do, though. No, so it must be this house right here. That one. There it is, 723 right there. Yep. So it looks like it's probably been the same since then. Thanks, Criminology. Police So where are we at? She's right there. Police Spec James R. Howe or Who or Hugh or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce that. Said the teenager, who will be 14 on April 30th, left her home at about 3:30 and apparently picked up a bundle of newspapers. So this is 3:30 a.m., by the way. And apparently, what a dangerous job, man. And apparently picked up a bundle of newspapers at Cinto and Lincoln. So let's see. So she lives here. She got up at 3:30 and she goes to Cinto and Lincoln. Is that what the word is? Yeah. Cinto Street? Yep. There's Cinto. And where's Lincoln? Okay. Cinto and Lincoln, right here. Picked up a bundle of paper. So she just lived right there, so very close to her house. Just kind of walked over here. She started delivering her route, but for some reason did not complete it. So she started delivering some of the papers. Police were called at about, you could absolutely show where she was abducted by where was the last newspaper that she'd thrown on a porch. Then right after that, if there's no more newspapers, that's when she was abducted, or, at the location. Police were called at about 8 a.m. by the girl's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Stanley C. Hawkins, after she failed to return home, said Hugh, who responded to the initial call. Harding said the missing girl delivered about half a dozen newspapers to 2 apartment houses and single-family residents before disappearing with the remainder, about 100 papers. Detectives, noting the missing girl had no reported family problems and had never been a runaway, expressed concern that she may have been abducted. They said the girl sometimes was joined on the route by a girlfriend, but this morning had gone alone. Nothing has been found. Not the missing papers, not the paper bag, not her, Hughes said at the public safety building where he filed a missing person report. Harding, who joined in the morning a long field search for the girl, a student at Havermale Junior High, and Detective Robert C. Van Leuven of the Department of Young People's Bureau was interviewing the parents. Hughes said the missing girl, who has delivered newspapers since last September, was believed to be wearing a blue ski jacket, 2-tone blue jeans, and tennis shoes. She was described as being 5'8", about 115 pounds, so pretty thin and tall, with brown shoulder-length hair and greenish eyes. Hughes said she was wearing teardrop-shaped silver-framed glasses. So that's her right there. Police have no clue in girl's disappearance. Police still have no clues in the case of 13-year-old Nanette Marie Martin. She went out to deliver papers, and she has been missing ever since. That's all we know for sure. Nanette left home at 3:30 a.m. Saturday and picked up a bundle of papers at Cinto and Lincoln, police said. Van Leuven said sometimes her dad takes her on her route if she has a heavy bundle, and sometimes she goes with her sister, but this time she went on her own. God, just that one time. Nanette's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Stanley Hawkins, called police around 8 a.m. when they discovered she had not returned home. Hawkins told police he had taken the girls roller skating Friday night, and she seemed happy. Police said Nanette had delivered newspapers to 4 residents on the 1400 North block of Lincoln. Oh, wow. So where's that? 1400 North Lincoln, right? So right here. Wow, so she picked up the papers right here. And just in the, let's see where 1500 is. So just right here, she disappeared in this area. So disappeared right there. Because she delivered 4 papers just right there in these homes. Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, gone. You know, maybe 2 here too or something. So they were just gone at that point. Or she was anyway. Let's see. She has never been a runaway before, Van Leuven said, but it is a possibility. The whole thing just doesn't make any sense. Police described Nanette, a student at Havermill Junior High School, as 5'8", 115 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. She reportedly was wearing a blue ski jacket, blue jeans, and blue tennis shoes when she disappeared. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So this sucks, but it says the body of 13-year-old girl who disappeared while delivering newspapers had been found inside a plastic bag in a swampy area on the city's outskirts, police said today. The body, found Monday by Detective Robert Baylor, acting on a hunch the girl might have been killed under circumstances similar to a slaying which occurred in the city 17 years ago, police said. Police sources said the body of Nanette Marie Martin had been cut with a sharp instrument, but they refused to say if it had been dismembered or to release any details about how the victim was killed. We have to evaluate just what we can release without hurting our investigation. Police said they had no suspects in the death of the girl who disappeared last Saturday morning without completing her paper route. Olberding said the girl's body was found about 30 to 40 feet off a road in a swampy area dotted with trees and scab rock. Police said the Martin girl disappeared about 12 blocks from where 9-year-old Candy Rogers disappeared 17 years ago. The body of Rogers' girl was later found partially buried about a mile from where the Martin girl's body was found. No charges were ever filed. Let's see where... was it Candy Rogers? Yeah, where was she found? Yeah, so she was found right... Oh, way over here, and then out in this wilderness shit. Look how crazy this is, you guys. I mean, these are the ones we were talking about later. Laura Ritchie, Dorothy Fielding, this Ruby here, Candy over here, and they're all sort of out to the west of the city, out in this rural area. You don't think there's something a little weird that they're all just like that? I mean, come on. Even though Candy's was 59, these ones are 67 and 70, you know. I don't know. That just seems... It might just be a sort of a dumping area that's known or something, but to me that's just odd. You know, a little too weird. Police said they had no suspects in the death of the girl who disappeared last Saturday. Olberding said the girl's body was found about 30 to 40 feet off a road in a swampy area. Police say the Martin girl disappeared about 12 blocks from where 9-year-old Candy Rogers disappeared 17 years ago. The body of the girl was later found partially buried about a mile from where the Martin's girl body was found. No charges were ever filed in connection with the death of Rogers' girl, who had been selling campfire mints. The latest victim's mother, Mrs. Stanley Hawkins, had described her mother as a quiet, studious youngster who enjoyed sewing and cooking. County coroner Louis Shanks said an autopsy performed Monday night revealed the girl died of either suffocation or strangulation. Miss Martin was well liked by her fellow pupils at Havermill junior high school. She had delivered newspapers on an earlier morning route since September. Crime lab sorting leads of murder case. The Martin girl was reported missing by her parents when she failed to come home from her morning route. They still don't have any real leads, it says. Police started an intensive search for the missing girl Saturday. That's so weird, that hunch part. I mean, the guy had a hunch that it's similar to Candy Rogers, and there she is? I mean, that's weird. That means it's almost related to Candy Rogers. Teenage girl's body found near Spokane, so it says it again. The body of Nanette Martin was found in a plastic bag about 5 miles west of downtown Spokane. About 2 p.m. Monday, Miss Martin had failed to return home. I mean, the thing is let's just put her here too, because she's not even on this map. So we'll just say, somewhere around in this area is Nanette Martin. So when you see it like that, just throw it out here. Maybe, who knows, a mile away from Candy's body. Well, then you've got Laurie Ritchie, Dorothy Fielding, Nanette Martin, Candy, and Ruby, all like right here. Just yeah, I know. Why are you typing that in, KK? We read that a minute ago. Yeah. Police said Friday they were continuing to receive calls from persons with information that might help the investigation, but we still haven't got what we're looking for. Miss Dr. Shanks, following a police request, has not given an exact time for Miss Martin's death. However, officers said they want to speak with persons who were in the area when the body was found. Yeah. I'm going to go forward here. April 13th. Solid leads lacking in hunt for Slayer. So I'm not going to even read it because there's nothing in there. Then on May 3rd, female torso found, whatever the hell this is. The badly decomposed torso of a woman with her head and arms and legs missing was found in a brushy thicket in Peaceful Valley last night, and police detectives were combing the area for additional evidence today. The torso was found near the rear of... Well, shit, let's put that in there. 1637 Main, or West Main Street. Is it Main? Yeah, there it is. West Main Avenue, Spokane. Yeah, so there's where Ruby lived. And then right here, torso is found. I mean, I'm not sure I'd want to move to Spokane. I mean, it's a lot of weird shit going on over there. Let's be honest. The torso was found near the rear of 1637 West Main, an area police said was as thick as a jungle. Deputy Police Chief Robert E. Colton said there's no way to know if this is any way connected to Nanette Marie Martin's murder case. The Martin girl's dismembered body. Oh, so now we know, listen to this, that Martin was dismembered. Body was found 5 miles west of the city on April 5th, 2 days after she disappeared. Thomas E. Mart, 5104 East Union, was arrested 10 days ago as a suspect in Martin's death and is being held in jail without bond on charges of first-degree murder and kidnapping. So there was an arrest made in that case. And right here it says, first-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping charges have been filed in Spokane County Superior Court against a Spokane man in connection with the dismemberment death of Nanette Marie Martin. The charges against Thomas Edwards Mart, 28, were filed Thursday during a brief in-chamber session before Judge T. Shields. Mart did not appear for the session, but remained at the county jail where he's being held without bond. Shields also signed an order requested by Mart attorney, public defender Richard Cease, to give Mart a psychiatric examination. Mart was arrested April 21st and charged the next day in Spokane County District Court with first-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping in the death of Miss Martin, 13. The nude and dismembered body of the newspaper delivery girl was found in plastic bags April 5th in a wooded area 5 miles west of downtown Spokane. Miss Martin had been missing since April 3rd when she failed to return home from her newspaper route in North Spokane. Shields named psychiatrists John M. Lambert and Robert A. Wetzler to conduct the 15-day examination of Mart. So anyways, I think he was convicted and everything, but he was like a mentally ill person. So you sort of wonder sometimes, was that really the guy? Who knows? But how creepy. The guy, she's just delivering newspapers, and right in the middle of the route gets abducted and then dismembered and put in plastic bags. I mean, it's unreal. All right, well, I guess that's it, you guys. That was, what's going on? Why is, not sure what's frozen here. Don't know how to fix whatever is happening. Oh, there I am in jail. Maybe a last-minute jail, not what I meant to do. I'm gonna have to do a Control-Alt-Delete now and see what the hell's going on with these. Oh, is that it? Okay. Had to choose something on the screen that I didn't see. Alright, well, we're not doing a notebook spin tonight, but I appreciate you guys being here. Let's see, we've got thanks, Revengeance. Appreciate it. See, that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes, like I do a whole nother like 30 minutes of a story, and there was like 0 for the goal.
Have a few dollary juice.
Thanks, Revengeance. It's like, so I should have just kept the story for another time, you know. All right, what do we got? We've got thanks to, I think it was at the beginning here. Traveling Teresa, Danielle, Kathy Chapin, Cindy J, Kathy Friedenmaker, brutally honest, just like I am with you guys. Cindy J, Lisa Murphy with a cat eye. So we got 2 cat eyes tonight, and without that, man, it would just been Traveling Teresa, Lane Dune, Traveling Teresa, Lisa Murphy, Linda Howell, Traveling Teresa, Kami Nielsen, Glory Batari, Kami, Renee, and thanks, Traveling Teresa, for, I mean, you're very supportive at the same time, too. And Danielle, and Daphne, and Snarky Cinderella, Lisa Valenzuela, Nikki Zubs, American Lady, and Scout Dude with a cat eye. And then we had Jessica Schubach, American Lady, Clark E.O., Janet Lewis gifted a membership. Thank you. Matthew Ludovico, Danielle, Criminology, and Revengeance. All right. So I'll try to do day, I guess it's 20 tomorrow. I'll just have to edit something and then go to sleep and then put it out there in the morning. But thank you guys very much for being here, and kind of did a later show tonight, but hopefully you found it interesting at least. Look at Revengeance up there as the super freak. He's got that perfect jacket on and everything. Oh, I don't know. I didn't see any ones earlier, so I'll go check. Oh, it looks like, well, there was a notebook. It looks like Linda Howell got a notebook, and so did Wendy. Oh, and there's Lillian. Thank you. Yeah, that came in so late. I didn't check that one. But thank you. What? I'm the captain now? Yeah, you're at the top. You'll still be on the screen tomorrow when that starts. What? Yeah, so thank you. Did you see that, Lillian? I thanked you the other night, too. Let's see. I don't know what time. I just do it when I feel like it, Danielle. I have no idea. 10, 11, I don't know. I'm doing the Serial Killer Sunday. I'm doing the Serial Killer Sunday tomorrow. This one's out of Oregon. It's pretty wild stuff. So, anyways, we'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for being here. And I'm really tired right now, so I feel like I'm just going to pass out. So I'm going to go drink some, not like a liquor, just like a hot chocolate or something. But did you guys think those were mildly interesting anyways? I mean, it's just kind of weird, all these different murders, and they're not too far apart, and a lot of them are just found right here in the wilderness why not over here, How come they weren't put over in this area? Why over there? Yeah, cool. All right, you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Oh, there it is. And a 1, a 2, and a 3, and a 4.
What do you mean a 1, a 2, and a 3, and a 4?
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector.
I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get you on a stretcher.
If you try and play me like an old projector, crime sector is my nectar. Professor Regal's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Full deflector, interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pecker.
Are you kidding me, Danielle? After that long show?
Just remember, I've attempted
You're kidding.
I have no agenda.
I'm no pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end,
I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah. So
look at Danielle. You worked your ass off. And it was slow as hell, and Danielle wants you to do some more flyby stuff. What a crazy loon.
Hey, Mary Lou, don't be mean, okay? People like the flybys. But yeah, isn't it weird when you say that you're really tired, and then somebody demands that you do extra stuff at the end? It's really strange, isn't it?
It is a little odd, isn't it? Yeah.
All right, everybody, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow, and be safe out there.
Good night, everybody.